Welcome to the deadline special of Organizations Win Championships. It's episode 108. I'm Dan Bernstein. Our producer is Spencer Ray, and my podcast partner is Balsac Biombo. And
oh my God.
the Bulls they've done the impossible. They've done the impossible. They've almost left me speechless. And we're going to get into the whole picture of the deadline, of everything they did do and didn't do.
Correct.
All they got was the rights to their own pick that they had to give up assets to get, 3 players who are mostly unusable, and no draft capital. They still have Kobe, Io, Vooch, and then they signed Lonzo Ball to a 2-year contract. That's where we are right now. That's your Chicago Bulls.
So, sorry if I have to mute to blow my nose because there's a cold going around campus right now that I have caught. It's not bad at all, but I'm going to be blowing my nose and I'll be Mr. Sniffle, or as you would always call Zoe. But
okay, whatever. Just figure it out. The Bulls they're 22-30. They're 10th in the East, and they apparently love it. They're 22nd overall in net rating. I don't know what to say anymore.
Me either. It's sad. It's just sad. They can't do anything. The only good thing right now that's happening for the team is Vuzelis. They didn't get a single first-round pick for it during this deadline that wasn't already their own, so it's not a net positive. And it's like, I guess Zach Collins can rim protect a little bit. Trey Jones is an okay bench guy, and Kevin Huerter can shoot. But
there's no vision. What does this accomplish?
Right.
What does any of this accomplish? Apparently, they talked at length with the Golden State Warriors about moving Vooch, and they just couldn't agree on a proper price. So that apparently fell through. I don't know what's going on. Can I just read you some quotes here from Arturas Karnisovas' press conference today?
Go ahead. Yeah.
He said they were active in trying to make moves, and he'll be busy in the summer. He said changes needed to be made. We're taking the opportunity to learn, pivot, and take necessary steps to reshape our team. I know fans want a specific plan. We're charting that now. We're not done yet. We're in a transitional phase, and there's more to come. We're committing to building a sustainable, competitive team. We're not okay with being in the middle. We're curating a team that competes at a high level, and competing for championships has been our goal.
Yep.
Okay, great. That sounds awesome.
Cool.
But then he said this: the next 30 games will determine if we will be in the play-in and playoffs. This is something that is achievable, and our guys are capable of getting there. So you traded DeMar, you traded Caruso, you traded Zach, and you say you want to get out of the middle, but now you want to go for the play-in. Explain this to me.
The play-in, like, you're not beating any of these teams in the East. Everybody else that made a trade or gave up a star got better. If you look at Miami, they got Andrew Wiggins back, who I think under Eric Spoelstra could be really good. Who else? I mean, the Spurs absolutely destroyed the deadline. Good for them. It's ludicrous what they're doing. And if you would have just said we tried to trade Vooch and it didn't work, and I don't know, if he just didn't say we're going to try to make the play-in or playoffs, it would have been okay. I'm done with this BS. It's the same story every year. I don't care if they pick up Reggie Jackson after he gets released or Daniel Tice. What is this going to accomplish? I really just don't know.
I understand there are teams that don't want to say they were trying to get under the luxury tax and trying to get under the apron. But I understand that. I understand that a lot of these deals were salary related and just trying to make sure that the owners can save a little bit of money. But nothing makes sense is what the Bulls are doing. Let me continue here. Let me just continue. Because we know that he's given us both sides of this vision. He says he doesn't want to be in the middle. They want to compete for championships, but they want to make the play-in. He said, if in the next 30 games, we're going to be out of the play-in and out of the playoffs, we'll get a good pick. But at the same time, if we, with this young team, can make the play-in and the playoffs, it's going to be an accomplishment. Because if your young guys are developing,
who cares?
Exactly. It translates into wins. I think there's growth. Your response.
The young guys can grow and improve without making the playoffs or the play-in. That doesn't just because Modest plays well, it doesn't mean that he's only good or going to be good if they make the play-in or the playoffs. He scored 24 points on 10 of 10 from the field the other night and a nice win over Miami, okay? And they needed every bit of it, too, of their rookie, who hasn't gotten, in my opinion, enough opportunity this year. However, I do think that'll change. It's really disappointing to hear that because it just sounds like they're not even looking at this draft, which is an unbelievable pool of talent. And I don't want them to get the 11th overall pick. I want them to get number 1, and if not, number 2. You know, it's brutal.
What doesn't make sense to me is the lack of understanding of making trades where it's an accomplishment to actually try to get worse. And he was asked, and actually for the first time, Arturas got a little testy with some of the regular media. Both Joe Cowley and Cody Westerland were asking some very pointed questions about what's going on here. And I thought the beat did a good job of keeping the fans well represented because I like to think that this podcast is a pretty solid representation of, for the most part, intelligent Bulls fans who want to win. That's our goal. It's why we call the podcast what it is. And I think we've done a pretty good job of representing your generation, my generation, young Bulls fans, old Bulls fans, all who have gone through a lot in the last 30 years. And when he says, when asked about, well, why did you expend resources to get your pick back and then not try to lose? He said, well, the calculation that went into getting our pick back is so we have freedom this season and years to come. It doesn't make sense to me. If you got your pick, because you wouldn't need to have given up any assets if you just committed to being bad. You would have kept your pick. And then, how about this? He said, by getting our pick back and not worrying about where we're going to land in the draft this year, there's an opportunity to land another young player and look for opportunities to get a star player. I think in terms of moving forward, there's different structures you can try to get to a championship. There's 2 or 3 star players on a team, and then a lot of role players, or you can build it with 9 or 10 very good players.
Jesus.
And I think we're now leaning toward having a lot of solid, good players, 9 or 10 that can last through a season. I defy you to tell me a team that's won a title with 9 or 10 solid, good players. And how many do the Bulls actually have?
Kobe, let's count it off. Kobe, Io, Vooch.
No.
Are we putting
Vooch overall? I don't think is a solid, good player. He's a negative defensive. He's probably a wash. I would say Vooch is average.
Really?
Yeah, he's an average player. No, he's a rookie. No, there's 7 players away from this.
Jalen Smith.
Come on, man. Come on. We already
Kevin Huerter?
No, you're talking about just randos. You're talking about winning a title, and he thinks 9 or 10 very fine, maybe 9 or 10 very good players What are you trying to accomplish? And someone's going to say the 04 Pistons. Someone's going to say that team won a championship. But can I give you their top 10 players?
Chauncey Billups.
Ben Wallace,
Ben
Richard
Wallace.
Hamilton. Yep. Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey Billups.
Tayshaun
Prince. Who else was there?
Rasheed Wallace.
Oh, yeah, he's okay.
Mehmet Okur, Lindsey Hunter, Corliss Williamson. Come on.
And those guys are those first few guys you list are Defensive Player of the Years, all stars. So
not that year, but Chauncey Billups, you're talking about everybody, a bunch of guys who are the top 10 of their position in the league.
There is one player on the Bulls roster currently that has ever made an All-Star game.
Wow.
One.
That's Vooch.
Yep.
This is just madness.
And he thinks they can make the playoffs or the play-in or get somewhere.
To what end?
Exactly. There's no end because it's a cycle, is what's going on. Every year it's the same thing. I don't know if he thinks that because they're first or second in the league in pace, that they're going to be, effective later in the season. But guys are going to get hurt, and it makes no sense. The only thing that I can possibly see that makes sense, I can understand the ball extension to an extent.
Yes. I argue with myself about this.
Viable, smart backup point guard, good passer, good defender, good shooter. Not what he used to be, but $10 million in today's NBA is not a lot.
Nothing.
And that is totally fine. But the thing is that if you get the other argument is that if you have that type of player on that deal, and it's expiring at the end of the year,
it's movable. And
if you could have gotten a second for that, fine. Because to what end does this extend? Where does this extension? How does this extension take you to a championship? They're not going to win a title in the next 3 years. I don't think.
No, of course not. But let me break down the argument I had with myself. When I heard this news last night, the first thing I thought was, what are we doing here? What's the point? And then I said, okay, if you're making other huge changes and you're collecting assets and you're trading people for picks and you are really rebuilding, you have to field a team. You need a roster. Of course, there's some risk in this guy with a knee with cadaver cartilage in it. But okay, you got to have guys on your team. You know that he's a facilitator. You know that he's smart. You know he knows the plays. You know he's a hard worker and he's an example setter, etc. I can live with that, but not in conjunction with saying we're going for the play-in now, and we're going to we don't care if we get a worse draft pick. Go to tankathon.com and keep clicking. Click until see how many clicks it takes for the Bulls currently to get the number one pick.
Let's see. Do you want to do it?
30. No, it takes. I've done it. I've done them, and it's random.
Let me do it right now.
You do a huge sample size.
Okay, so they're eighth right now. Sim. New Orleans got the first overall pick. Chicago got third in this one, which I will take. Actually,
of course.
Do it again. Bulls down to 11.
11, 9, 10.
Bulls up
11,
to 4.
9.
So that's. I'll click until I get it.
No, you don't have. We've done this.
It's fun.
You can click all day.
Second.
Okay.
I'm going to keep doing it.
All right.
This is fun.
So the Bulls got the first pick?
10. Already got it. 10.
10. It took 10 clicks for the Bulls to get the first
pick. It's a lot of changes in that lottery, but it took 10 clicks.
Now, think how many it would take if they just kept losing. They got to start losing. But he doesn't see the value in losing. People are going to come anyway. People are going to come to the games. It's going to be fine. Where's the accountability? How does he just keep getting this opportunity to have the same press conference 3 years in a row?
It doesn't make sense. And am I okay with the LaVine trade? I'll say this. I was okay with the LaVine trade when it happened because I thought they were going to trade Vooch. I thought they were going to trade somebody else. Io, Kobe, Patrick, Lonzo, whatever. They didn't make a single other move. So all they got out of this deadline was they traded Zach LaVine, who's having a hell of a year, for 3 okay to mediocre bench players and getting the rights to their own first-round pick back.
I get everything you're saying, and your point about why didn't they keep Zach. I don't know. Do you follow Steph No, N-O-H on Twitter?
I know who he is. I see his stuff every once in a while on Instagram or when you send it to me. I don't use Twitter,
great.
But
Steph is great, and he had his own personal checklist for the Chicago Bulls. And after the press conference, after the deadline and after the press conference, Stefan No, we should get him as a guest, by the way, because he's really good. He had a list of 6 Bulls recommendations. The Bulls went 0 for 6.
0 for 6? And were they feasible as well?
Well, here were his recommendations. Okay. 1, don't panic about the pick owed to the Spurs. X on that one. Because they clearly did panic because they gave up assets instead of losing. His second one, keep Zach LaVine. His third, trade Vooch for anything. His third was trade Kobe White. Parenthetically, 7 teams were interested.
I saw that. That's what KC said.
Yep. I think he probably got it from KC. Then trade Ayo Dosunmu. And the last one was trade Lonzo Ball, move on. They are doing all 7.
And they extended him.
Yep. Red X's next to all of those. One of the smartest basketball people out there. The Bulls did the opposite of everything he said.
And somehow we still don't have the dumbest front office in basketball.
Well, that's Dallas.
I do kind of want to just take a moment.
Okay. Go ahead.
We have to, right?
Yep.
Oh my God. Nico Harrison needs to be exiled, put in the stocks, head under a guillotine.
Oh, like easy.
I'm kidding. Maybe not that.
No.
Put in the stocks.
Okay.
I want to throw tomatoes at him, and I'm not a Mavericks fan. There was a video. By the way,
do you remember doing that?
Hold on.
Do you remember throwing tomatoes at someone in the stocks?
No, but I guarantee you I pelted them.
No, you did it. You did it at the, what do they call it? The
Bristol Renaissance
Fair.
Yeah.
There was a guy
Why do I remember that?
making fun of you. You were throwing tomatoes at him. Yeah.
Hell yeah. But of course I was.
Yep.
But there was a video on TikTok where outside of the arena by the Dirk statue,
saw it.
There were signs and flowers as if he had died. And these 3 guys brought a full-blown casket and they were wearing tuxedos and gave a speech about Luka. And what sucks is that Anthony Davis is a fantastic player, and it's still that bad of a trade. And do I think Dallas is going to make the playoffs this year with this roster? Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I think they could do well. But in 3 years, Anthony Davis is going to be 35 years old.
Luka going to be 28.
God damn.
I thought about it this way too, and I thought it was unseemly the way they pretty much said we're trading him because he's fat and drunk. They pretty much allowed for that to be and put that out there and did some all this back.
He averages 34. Okay. I don't care how fat or drunk he is.
9-9, and this is.
I don't care if he's fat and drunk.
So
who gives a shit? It's Luka fucking Doncic. You don't trade him. Half of America More than half of America is fat and drunk. I wish I was one of them right now. One of those two. I mean, if I was fat and drunk and averaging 34, I would be pretty pleased. But I guess the Mavericks weren't. God damn. Like, hello? And they initially offered Connect and multiple firsts, and then Rob Pelinka basically groomed him and said, wait, we're also concerned about the conditioning. It's like that clip from The Wolf of Wall Street, where it's like they're making a deal, and every time they go on hold, they just start cracking up. I mean, it's unbelievable. And they traded for Mark Williams, which I think it's a ballsy trade.
Expensive.
But I like it. For sure.
I thought that is a perfect example of an expensive cost for a need. And and he's got his own issue. He's not a perfect player. But said, we need a defensive-minded rim runner, lob catcher.
You know how tall he is?
He's 7'1".
7'2".
7'2". Yeah.
And I think he has one of the. I think he has. I don't know if Wemby went to the NBA Combine, but I think at the time when he did, he had the longest recorded wingspan of anyone in NBA history, something like that. Like Mark Williams has crazy long arms.
And they gave up a lot to get him, but he's a perfect fit.
And I also think that Connect is a great fit for a team like Charlotte. That's rebuild, rebuilding. LaMelo Ball can't stay healthy. I think Connect and LaMelo Ball
and Miller.
They're building something.
If you're looking at something, and they're going to have a high pick. I mean, they could have the number 1 pick. They could end up with Cooper Flagg. What? I'd much rather be. I would rather be Charlotte than the Bulls.
100%.
I'd rather be the Wizards than the Bulls.
Hey.
Yeah, I would. They're cleaning that whole thing out. At least
why can't they look? Why can't they look at teams like Orlando or Houston to look at recipes of success? Look at Houston right now; they're contenders.
They're
great.
They don't care. And when it comes to Doncic, I keep getting back to you ever read the apocryphal quote when during the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln was apparently warned about General Ulysses S. Grant, the future president. And Lincoln one of his advisors came to him and he said, President Lincoln, Grant is drinking too much. And it's apparently a problem. And Lincoln said, find out what he drinks and send a barrel of whatever it is to all my other generals.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about Luka. And
if he's getting drunk, give it to everyone. Maybe it'll make them score.
His favorite meal is a Slovenian style hamburger. It's a very, very flat hamburger and slathered with kaimak. And
hell yeah,
right? So if that's the case, and because LeBron is like in his his like oxygen chamber in his back
drinking red wine like Petrus or something.
No, but you know how he's like, is it?
Yeah,
the Luke Skywalker stuff where like after the Wampa gets him and carves him up at the beginning of Empire Strikes Back. That LeBron's got billions of dollars for all that stuff and all the jokes.
Give it to Luka.
Right, he'll take one look. Luka would look at that tank and he'd probably drink it. No, Luka, you're supposed to bathe in it. No, he's good.
I don't care. I don't care. He's Luka Doncic. You don't trade him.
I know. They traded a 25-year-old future Hall of Famer, 5-time All-NBA player.
He could be a Hall of Famer right damn now. He was a EuroLeague MVP at 17 or 18.
And somebody drafted DeAndre Ayton ahead of him.
And Marvin Bagley.
Bagley Jr. ahead of him. All right.
And he was the EuroLeague MVP.
Right. He was the MVP of a rugged professional league. Who knew he'd turn out to be a really good professional basketball player?
And did you see that? So there's a quote from a few years ago that Mark Cuban said. Somebody asked, "Would you rather divorce your wife or get rid of Luka?" And he said, "The wife's gonna have to go," or something like that.
Yeah,
He
no,
is.
He did.
Hell yeah! I mean, unless you know what, maybe not. But oh my god!
Yeah. Well, that was fun not thinking about the Bulls for about 5 minutes there.
I thought it was fake when it happened. My friend showed me, and I said no. And keep in mind, I went to exotic horse racing all day.
What?
So yeah,
Wait,
I told Mom about this. There were at the Fairgrounds racetrack in New Orleans. It's a whole thing where pretty much all Tulane students just go to a racetrack and watch people ride ostriches and zonkies and zebras.
What?
It was awesome.
Do you bet on it?
No, you can. I didn't. One of my friends won $100, but So I was doing that all day. And obviously I was a little bit sauced, correct? Because what else are you going to do? I got back. I mean, I wasn't drinking like crazy, just, a little tipsy. I got back.
Everybody in the club.
Got some water, sobered up. And then I went to a friend's house because they wanted to go out again, even though I was exhausted. But so I said, fine. And I'm sitting there. We're playing Cards Against Humanity. And all of a sudden, my friend shows me this, and I go, no, that's fake. I say, there's no way in hell. And then it comes out that it's real, and both of us are screaming, crying, throwing up. We couldn't move. And everyone was saying, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? And we just couldn't explain how big of a deal it was. And
we had on the show today, we had Kevin Harlan on. He's going to be calling. He's calling Mavs Celtics tonight, and he's calling the Super Bowl Sunday. And he was dry. He called Illinois, Ohio State down in Champaign. That when he got the news, we were talking to him today. He said he was driving down I-57. He went from O'Hare directly down to Champaign. And he said he was hungry, and he doesn't like to look at his phone when he's driving, and his phone is blowing up. So I was like, who's trying to reach me now? So he said he was hungry anyway. He pulled to some roadside McDonald's in like Effingham. And that's when he said he did the same thing. He's like, this is fake. This is fake. This is fake.
Yeah.
And then he starts going. He's like, oh, it's real. It's real. It's real. So he was saying he couldn't believe it either. This is one of the premier NBA television and radio.
It's the biggest trade in NBA history. It's the first time that two All-NBA players have been swapped in the middle of a season.
Yeah, I
feel terrible for Davis, man. Like everybody's saying it's such a horrible trade, which it is, and you're Anthony Davis looking around like, God damn it! Oh my Lord!
Okay, can we get to the showdown?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We congratulate our winner of the crowd question. Our last episode, we asked you to identify the 3 times that the Rookie of the Year, the NBA Rookie of the Year, ended in a tie in the 3 pairs of players. So Twitter user Burke25_B, who identifies himself as Bradley, properly was able to name Elton Brand and Steve Francis as 1, and Jason Kidd and Grant Hill as 2, and Dave Cowens and Jeff Petrie as 3. Nicely done. He is the winner of the crowd question in the showdown. Now, I will start. Jason, this is your question.
Okay.
A couple days ago, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander joined an elite group.
Okay.
This is the list of players with 3 50-point games in a 7-game span.
Wow.
3, SGA, 3.
Including him.
No, there's 8 total. There's 7. No, excuse me.
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, there's 9 total. 9. There are 8 other names. 3 50-point games in a 7-game span.
Okay.
Can you name the other 8?
Kevin Durant.
No.
All right. Luka.
Yes. That's one.
I know this is a really stupid guess, but I just remember he went crazy for a little bit. But I think it might have been 40-point games. But is Cam Thomas anywhere close?
No, it was 40-point games.
Okay, because I remember he had like 3 in 3 games.
These are all of these are either Hall of Famers or Hall of Famers to be.
Okay.
Easily Hall of Famers or Hall of Famers to be.
LeBron.
No.
Curry, right?
No.
Yeesh. Wilt.
Yes.
MJ.
Yes.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4.
No, you've named Wilt, Luka, and MJ.
And Jordan. And Shea. So they're yeah. Oh, this one I feel like should be a shoo-in. James Harden has to be, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You got 4. You need 4 more.
Oof. George Gervin?
No, really good guess though. Really good guess, but no.
Larry? He's too much of a passer though.
Yeah.
Dr. J? He can score.
Nope.
Kareem?
Yep. Kareem.
Big O?
No.
Ooh, I'm just thinking of the triple-double season. Did Westbrook ever do it?
No, I will tell you this. You need...
Don't tell me too much. No, I think I can get it. Jokic.
No.
No, okay. Booker?
No.
Okay. Ooh, this is a really good question. Carmelo Anthony?
No. Also a good guess.
Anthony Davis? I mean, I don't think so, but
no.
Ooh. All right, give me a little bit.
Okay, so I've got 1, 2. You've got Wilt, Luka, MJ, Harden, and Jabbar.
Yeah.
Two were played for the same team for almost their entire careers, and 1 is a current player.
I have 3 more?
There's 3 more. You've got 5. There's 3
Aren't
more.
there 9?
Well, with Shea. Shea is 9.
Oh, okay.
So there's 3 more.
Current player.
1 is a current player, and the others spent their careers with the same team, same franchise.
Karl-Anthony Towns? No.
Nope.
Because he's had some games.
The other 2 that were with
Kobe.
Yep, Kobe.
And Elgin Baylor?
Baylor. Good.
Got it. Okay.
So we got 1 more, and it's a current player.
Embiid, right?
No.
Wow. Okay. I was pretty confident with that. Nope. I said Westbrook. It's not Westbrook.
You did. But this guy's a great scorer.
And Hall of Famer, right?
Will be.
Was he ever the best player in champion?
Best player in a champion? No.
It's not Chris Paul.
It is not. More of
Has he ever won a ring?
I don't think so. Let me see. I don't think so.
No,
he hasn't.
I was thinking Giannis for a second.
Oof. You were thinking who?
Giannis?
Yeah, okay.
Is that right?
No. Who's his teammate?
Oh, gotcha. Dame Dollar.
Yep. Damian Lillard. Very good. That's a fun one, huh?
Oh, he is definitely a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Great player. Okay, my question to you is I've been watching a lot of college basketball recently because I'm in college. I would like you to name
Oh, no.
the top 3 all-time scorers for the Duke Blue Devils.
Oh, all-time top scorers for the Duke Blue Devils. Christian Laettner.
He's 3rd.
Danny Ferry.
He is 6th, so no.
Hurley?
Nope.
Hill.
Not even top 10.
What about
Grant
Hill?
Hill, not even top 10.
It has to be somebody who was there forever.
Right.
Oh, God. It's like Chris Collins.
Nope. They were all these guys, the top 2 were there for 4 years each.
Well, everybody used to be there for 4 years. Jaminski?
No. Good guess, though. He's 5th.
Gene Banks?
Gene Banks is 8th.
Jaminski Banks. So I got Laettner. What about Dick Grote?
No.
Johnny Dawkins.
Number 2. There you go. And all you're missing is number 1.
Oh, now I'm trying to think. Was there like a relatively modern Duke player that stayed longer than he probably otherwise would have? Like Luol Deng could easily have been.
It's not Luol Deng.
No, because he didn't stay enough. And it's God, it's not Danny Ferry. Did I go to school with him?
No, you did not.
He was after me.
Correct.
So he had to be good enough, but not good enough to leave early. He spent all
I guess.
So he spent
he played in the NBA.
Right, but he spent all 4 years there.
He did spend all 4 years there.
So he wasn't good. And this is the hard part about these college questions now. And did he play for the Bulls at all?
He did not.
Okay, because Brand wasn't there long enough.
No.
It's going to be one of these weirdo like shooter guys, or it's going to be somebody like Justice Winslow.
It is not Justice Winslow.
It's going to be one of those. It's not Tatum.
It's not Tatum.
Yeah. Duke's all-time leading scorer there 4 years. It's not one of the Plumlees.
And it's by over 200 points, too.
It's not one of the Plumlees. It's not John Shire.
John Shire's 10th.
Oh, I know. He scored a lot of points, but he didn't really play in the NBA because he had an eye injury and he was on the Heat and he was on he was in their training camp roster. White guy?
White guy.
A white guy. Duke's Singler?
Nope, he's 4th.
Oh, I thought I had it for sure. I thought Kyle Singler was the answer.
I'm just going to say this.
Yeah.
You're going to be pissed.
American?
At yourself. Yeah. You're going to be really mad.
Why?
It's a lot simpler than you're making it.
Big.
No.
Guard.
Yeah.
White shooter guy. Oh, Redick. Redick.
Yes, JJ Redick. Yeah, like come on, man. He's been all over the place. His face is everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't know he spent all 4 years there.
2,769 points as a Duke Blue Devil in 4 years. That's a lot of points.
Good question.
In 4 years of college ball.
Good question. Okay, so it's Redick, Dawkins, Laettner, and you said Jaminski was 4th.
5th. Singler's 4th.
5th? Oh, yeah, pre-3-point line. Okay. Good stuff. All right, give us the crowd question.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, this also has to do with the NBA draft a little bit. Or a lot. But, I'm sure you can, but there's some specifics. Okay. Can you name the last 3 players drafted by the Chicago Bulls to make an all-star game as a Bull?
Ooh.
There you
Okay.
go.
All right. So
And also name the years they were drafted. The last 3.
Well, people aren't going to.
Okay, fine. Don't name the years.
Don't worry about the years. Last 3 players drafted by the Bulls to be an all-star as a Bull. All right, we're going to do this off the air. We're going to do this off the air for sure. Okay, so send your answers to @Dan_Bernstein on Twitter, @Dan Bernstein, I think, @Dan Bernstein on Blue Sky, or @Jason Bernstein _ on Instagram. Okay, well, here we are, and we're all in this together, folks. I'm sorry the Bulls are what they are, but we can just be what we can all be, and let us all say amen.
Oi.
Oi.
And let us say
oi.
Oi men.
Oi men. Oi men.